Right, let's have a chat about this 90 breakdown adventure we've just had. So I'm going to go summarise quickly what happened in a super quick summary and then go on to the questions, because in my mind it raises more questions. So basically 800 miles, my 90 broke down, went into the dealers, and it was a misfire that they diagnosed as a coil pack failing and replaced the coil pack under warranty. Shortly after that, it had its near service, serviced by the dealer. The spark plugs aren't changed, or the coil packs aren't changed as part of the service. And then a while later, we hit about 1400 miles. We thought we'd go to Silverstone for the Iconics auction. It's a great day out, and we make some YouTube videos there. The guys are really nice. Got in the car to drive up the road. Shudder. Now I thought the wheels were loose. It was that sort of a shudder, but put the diagnostics on it. Bam. Now, interestingly, there was no engine management light came on. Now, subsequently, I did notice it flashed on and then went off again. So we got no engine management light, car's shaking, but it's a stored fault, misfire. So I'm like, deja vu, we're back here again. So, called up the dealer. So I have to say that the car is now 2 years old. It's only done 1400 miles, and we use it for development. So we're scanning it, laser scanning it, test fitting parts on it, making videos on it. Because of the tax, I can't use it for personal use because it'd have a horrific benefit in kind. So that's why the car's got minimal mileage, and that may contribute, we'll discuss, to some of the issues. So that's where we are. So got a breakdown, call the dealer. Now initially the dealer's like, no, got no record of that car, and the number plate was on it from new, and I gave them the chassis number and I bought it from them. Anyway, we got through that hurdle eventually, and then they said, well, we can't fit you in for at least a week, so okay, well, book me in when you've next got availability. So I'm there with a broken car, and I've got a workshop, and I'm thinking, it's got to be another coil pack, right? They diagnosed it as a coil pack with the same fault. So, and if one's gone, what's the chances we got a dodgy batch or something? I'm thinking, shall I have a look myself? So, and additionally, if I go to the dealer, I've got to take it in one day, wait for them to diagnose it, order a part, maybe come the next day. So it's another 2 or 3 days, and they don't normally have courtesy cars available. And if it is, it's unlikely to be a 90. So, right, so we have a look, right. So we have a look, it's got a misfire, the gap tool diagnoses it on cylinder 2, so it goes easy, it's right at the front, swap coil packs 1 and 2 over, bam, okay, the fault stays on cylinder 2, so we know it's not this time the coil pack, so it's either something in the engine or with spark plug. So we swap the spark plugs around 1 to 2, the fault goes to cylinder 1, easy, right? So we've identified the spark plug was faulty. Then I change the spark plug for a new one in cylinder 1, start it up, take it for a drive. Now, interestingly, the fault only manifests itself under load. It just driving at idle or normal, it was hard to see a consistent misfire. Put some load on it, it would shake. Right, so put the new spark plug in 1, take it out for a drive. Cylinder 2's now playing up again, and I'm like, why? I've just fixed this. So, bam, new spark plug in cylinder 2, and it's fine. And we drove it to Cheltenham and back. I had to go and pick George up. Drove it to Cheltenham and back to verify the fault had gone, and the fault had indeed gone. Right, so what are the questions? Okay. First question I got is, why, Land Rover, does the engine management light not stay on? It would be really helpful. I've got a car that's shaking. I thought it was a wheel at one point, a wheel nut loose. I'd had a wheel off. So it'd be really useful to know. There's a stored code. The car's not running light. It's running like a pig. Why didn't the engine management light stay on? I've got no answer to that. Also, if I didn't have access to the diagnostic equipment, it would be much more difficult to do this. Now, on the Tesla, I did a video where you can actually get into a secret, but not very secret, diagnostic screen. So Tesla make you sign into it. So but it's a generic password, like password or diagnostics or something. But it's not something you would stumble across by accident. So that when you're in there, you're aware you're doing, you're in an advanced level feature. And it puts a red border around the screen. Now, why can't Land Rover give us that? Why have we got to pay hundreds of pounds for a gap tool? Brilliant as it is, I feel we shouldn't need to pay for that equipment to diagnose the cars. Why won't Land? As cars get more complicated, surely they should reciprocate that with giving you the tools to fault find them, because the gap tool is not diagnosing the fault. It's just reading Land Rover's internal fault diagnostics. It's just relaying the messages that are already there to me. And FYI, Tesla also give you access to the electronics parts catalogue online, and also give you access to the workshop manual, so you could actually find out how to change the spark plugs. There aren't any spark plugs on a Tesla, but you know what I mean. Right, so we've got a failed spark plug. Now, that's kind of a little bit alarming. Could it be lack of use? Some people are saying the petrol degrades, or is it the fact I don't use premium petrol? Is that really a fault at such a low mileage? And often a spark plug failure can be a symptom, not a cause. It can be the car running rich, or burning oil and contaminating the plug. So we got on to NGK, the maker of the spark plugs, and I said, look, could they analyze the spark plug for me? And they said, look, you haven't bought the spark plugs from us. I said, well, they've got NGK written on them. They said, no, you bought the car from Land Rover. It's a problem for you and Land Rover. And I'm like, well, it's got your name on and it's giving me a problem. And they were a bit like, no, not really, just talk to Land Rover, which obviously is. And I said, well, it could be fake. You know, how do I know it's fake? And also NGK have got some, they told me they've got some really lush diagnostics equipment with a little pressure chamber, and they can test the spark plug under pressure. But they said, no, can't help you. If you'd have bought the spark plugs aftermarket, we could help you, but because you've bought them, you know, as part of the car, we're not going to look at it. Which I was a little disappointed, but they did go on to say that 99% of the time, they would say this, Mike, the spark plug failure is nothing to do with the spark plug quality or anything. It's they've been over tightened, or it's fouled up because the engine's not running right. So they did leave me with that little nugget, which would be why it was interesting. Now, I could clean the spark plugs and see if it is the spark plug that's broken or it's fouled, and we may well do that. And I have ordered a little cheap spark plug tester. But bear in mind, where it only failed in the car under load, that probably means we need some sort of atmospheric chamber. Apparently they do some flash ones, but I couldn't find one on eBay when I had a look. Right, so let's get on to the coil pack. So was it the coil pack that failed originally? I mean, or did they take it out and take the spark plug out and clean it and put it back in? And so we'll never know. I personally think it's unlikely that a coil pack has failed. I wonder whether that was a correct diagnosis. And also, Land Rover have to find something wrong with the car to get the warranty payout. The dealers complained to me before. We took the stick in when the weight sensors stopped working. They had the car 2 weeks, couldn't fix it, and they said, we've lost thousands of pounds, Simon, because we can't find out what's wrong. And it was water in where the door meets the body. There's an electrical connector, and water had got in there because I'd been through some deep water, which was ironic because the weight sensor failed. But that is another story. Right, so we're fixed now. I've cancelled the appointment at the dealer. But another point to note is that if we had taken it into the dealer, because of this IT cyber attack that Land Rover JLR are currently suffering, we cannot get any parts out of JLR warehouse, and the dealers can't either, because we buy our genuine parts through the dealer network. My car would have been stuck there unless they had whatever it was, well, spark plugs in this case, or a coil pack in the previous case. We wouldn't have even been able to get our car back fixed. So the fact that I fixed it myself, I think, was a good job on this occasion. So there we go. So someone said, can you do a video, Simon, changing all the spark plugs? Because 1 and 2, you are blessed, Simon. They're the ones right at the front. They're easy. You don't have to take that big charge cooler off. So yeah, we may well do a video. I'm sure that will come in useful future P400 owners. I mean, I'm still left a bit unsure. I still lack a bit of confidence in the vehicle. I need to drive it some more. Let's look at the plugs again. Let's see if they foul up. And let's see if the coil packs survive longer. Right, if you've got any more questions or comments about this, please let me know. But I'll keep you updated on how it goes and stuff. But right now, I'm going to finish my holiday.